All right, you read the title. On this one, we're going to talk about what is retail arbitrage. So I don't waste your time. I'm just going to tell you up front. We're going to talk about what retail arbitrage is. We're going to talk about some pros. We're going to talk about some cons. Then I'm going to show a couple deals that I've worked out in the past. All right, let's get started. When it comes to reselling, retail arbitrage is one of the areas that is a little bit controversial. The reason I'm going to say it's controversial is because some people love it and some don't. So when it comes down to what retail arbitrage is, if you had to make it simple, a simple answer is it's when you're going to a store, big box store, some other place that just sells to normal end users, if you will, and you're buying it trying to make a profit on it. For example, if they're selling something for $12, you think you can sell it for $15. You buy it and then you pocket $3 difference. That's in a sense, in a simple way, is what retail arbitrage is. This, of course, is different than, for example, going to a garage sale or going to a bin store where things are often bought and resold by default. All right, now that we got that out the way, let's talk about some pros and cons. Number one, everything you buy, generally speaking, is new or open box. This is a big deal because it allows you to get more money on your listings. You don't have to put used, or you don't have to take off money because something's wrong, the box is beat up, there's something missing on the object. More than likely what you're buying is new. Number 2, you have a verified receipt. A lot of people have issues on Amazon with getting ungated, and one of the things that you need is to verify basically where you're getting it from. I wouldn't necessarily recommend going this route because you don't know if they will ungate you. But this is something that's good. And it also helps for tax purposes. When you go to garage sales and other places like that, you may not have receipts. You may just deal in cash, and that's things you have to report and figure out for yourself. All right, number 3. One of the best components of it, really, in my opinion, is the fact that you can get multiples. When you go to a garage sale and you find an item that you like, generally speaking, they only have one. Maybe they have multiple different types of things. They generally only have one. When you go to a store, they may have 6 to 7 of a particular item on the shelf, and you can buy them all. I mean, you often see almost picture like the extreme couponers where they're buying like 100 things of toothpaste. You can do things like that as well and make a profit on each one of them. All right, another good thing is a lot of times you can get items that will sell faster by you having newer products, you having things that look pristine, you have the receipts, you have everything that you need to really put up something that's going to sell faster than the next guy who may not have the original box or something's wrong with it. These are things you need to do before you actually buy it as far as doing a little research. But generally speaking, these items can sell faster, allowing you to double up, triple up your money and to really turn 5 to 10 to 20 to 40 to 80. You know what I mean? Potentially the biggest pro that I can think of out of everything is you can pretty much have a rotation ahead of time. You can know I want to go to Marshall's today. I want to go to Ross today. I can go to Walmart today. I can go to Target today. You can make a rotation to allow you to get the most bang for your buck as far as your gas goes. When it comes down to garage sales, they move and vary from week to week depending on where they're going to be, and often are not available all week. You usually have to go on the weekends, maybe Friday, maybe Thursday for estate sales, but the big box stores or the stores in general are open all week long. So as long as you have free time and you have gas, you can get there. And unlike a garage sale, there's often much more product that's available to buy that's on sale. It takes a little bit more digging to find the sales, but there's usually more money to be made. All right, now let's talk about some cons. The pros was a pretty hefty chunk, and I don't have as many cons, but there's still a few things that I think you need to understand, and I wanted to talk about. Number one, the revenue on deals can sometimes be lower. What do I mean by that? Well, if you think about it, let's say Target, for example. Let's say you're in Target, you're checking out the clearance area. They have something that's marked down 30%. Now, you may go over there, find something that's a deal. But the simple fact is, Target is still trying to make that money. If they could sell it to the actual end user themselves, they would. So some of that margin that should technically go to you, they're getting it. So they're going to get their money as well as you getting your money. But that's going to cut into it as opposed to going to something like a garage sale or a bin store where maybe you're just buying it for $1 to $2 and then selling it for $8. You're really not going to get that going to a normal store, and it's very rare to get it out of retail arbitrage, but it can happen. Number two, flooding the market can be an issue. So, one thing about it, let's say Ross, for example, let's say there's, I don't know, some type of doll or something, some toy, whatever it is. You like it, you see it, it's a great deal. They have it for $3, you're about to sell it for $20. One problem that happens is if one Ross has it for sale, it's very likely that a lot of different Rosses also have it for sale. So whatever platform you're on, whether it be Amazon, Mercari, eBay, whatever it is, could be shortly flooded by a whole bunch of people seeing the exact same thing you're seeing. And at one point, maybe it's not a huge deal because of shipping rates and things. There are things to kind of protect you in a way and separate things. But if you have enough people that start to lowball, they can totally tank the market. And what you thought was a good deal may no longer be a good deal. All right. So the biggest con to me, the biggest one that I can really think of is this method usually requires more capital as opposed to going to garage sales, Goodwills, or bin store. And what I mean by that is when you go to, for example, a Goodwill, there are certain days of the week where they say, oh, the blue tags 50% off, the red tags this percent off. There are more potential opportunities for you to get things that are $1, $2, $3. When you go to a store like Ross, Macy's, Target, Walmart, whatever it is, um, things are usually not quite as cheap. Now, the flip side of it is what I mentioned before. You can potentially buy multiples of things. So maybe you can't maximize it and get $8 on it like you could at a garage sale, but maybe you can buy four of them and get, I don't know, $16. Like the math can still math, but sometimes it's a little bit harder to get quite as much bang for your buck going the retail arbitrage route. But the main thing I would say is it's one of those things where you can still make a lot of money. All right, some people aren't going to like this, but the next thing I want to talk about real quick here is who is this recommended for? Because unfortunately, this isn't recommended for everyone. I would say, and I'm no expert, I've only been doing this since October of last year, so I'm almost at a year in, but I would not recommend this for a brand new person. I really believe you have a better luck, better chance going to a low price thrift store. That could be a Goodwill, could be a Salvation Army, could be your local bins, a place where you could potentially buy a few things for, let's say, $1 to $5, and you can flip those just to get a few things going, as opposed to doing something like retail arbitrage. Because, like I said, it's less money per deal. So if you're afraid to do it, it's you may not commit to buying as much things as you should to really maximize on your deal. And also, if you're wrong, it ties up more capital. If you go to the bins on, let's say, the $2 day, you buy five things, you're $10 in. If they sell, if they don't sell, no problem. If you go to Ross and you spend, let's just say, $5 per item and you buy 10 things, you're at $50. You've put a lot more money into the game. And if you're wrong, if you don't understand what you're doing, if you don't understand your material you're looking at, if you didn't do the proper research, it could totally tank your whole plan and you may just give up right then and there. So I would recommend this for someone that's been doing it for a little bit. If you had $100 that you were willing to source with, I think doing retail arbitrage is totally fine. If you only had $5 to $10 to work with, I don't believe this is your best course of action. Instead, stick to the low box or the low cost deals, flip your money a few times, and then start to add this in. All right, so when it comes to retail arbitrage, I got a few examples of just some small things I've done. Nothing like super crazy. I'd like to say I've gone out and done some double ups, but just making little money here and there. So this is something I got from Target. I want to say about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. It was only about $8. It was on sale. It used to be 16, and I bought it. I think I want to say it was like $8. And my general rule for anything I'm buying from a store that's not, so my general rule for anything that I'm buying from a store is basically I need to be able to sell it for double the price. It just seems to be that's the way the math works out. I'm sure someone out there has a calculator or something that can actually help with this, but as far as I know, with the fees that they take from eBay takes, the taxes, all that kind of stuff. If you happen to put some ads on it, you basically need to do something close to double the price. So even in my scenario, I ended up selling it for $16.50. Once again, bought it for 8. Customer paid $4 for shipping and $1.13 on tax. So wipe out the tax. Um, Basically, they paid what, $20. You have to take out $3 for fees. You have to take out $5 for shipping because it actually weighed a little bit more. But I wanted to keep my options open. But then I also paid $2 in fees for ads, just to make sure it got out there to everyone. And I happened to buy 2 of these, so uh, $1.64. So I really made like $3 off of 2 things, and it only took 2 to 3 weeks, so nothing too crazy. Really, the point is that whatever you buy, you need to get back your money plus something else. Be nice to double up and things like that. But let's go to another example. All right, so this is a monkey bomb that we got from TGS. I'm sorry, TG Max. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. TG Max. Anyway, got it for $14. I believe was the price. It was on sale. Ended up selling it for 33. But once again, once it goes through everything, all the fees and stuff, what you're left with is really just a few dollars more than whatever it is. So for this to be super crazy, I would have to sell it for almost like $40 and things like that. But when I looked at it and I saw kind of what was going on with other people's listings and things, I ended up basically going on with this price. Hey, I'll take that extra dollar and a half, just a little bit of extra money that then I can turn around and loop into something else. Let's see, go to the next one. All right, this was something from Home Depot I bought. I looked it up. I paid approximately $4 for this. It was in the clearance area. It's just some big staples. Ended up selling it for $18. You can see here I made about $2 on shipping. Made a little bit off of the product itself, but once the fees and label and all that kind of got in there, really was only left with $5. So really just like another dollar opportunity. Nothing crazy, but something that sold pretty quick. Now, one thing I've mentioned before is I like going to the bins and places like that because I feel like it's a lot easier to double, triple up your money. So here's an example. This is some ink that I bought from the bins, essentially. It was a 4 pack. I put when it was dated all in there. Ended up selling it for $41.66. I bought this for $2. Not lying in that. $2. All I paid for this, and I made $21.73. So I really made about $19 when it was all said and done. Now, this one item right here is worth more than the other 4 combined. And this is why I really feel like the bins is a great starter place for a lot of people. And even beyond that. But I do believe there is some value in retail arbitrage once you know what you're looking for. And even I'm not gonna lie, I'm still trying to understand it myself because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of videos online you should watch. There's a lot of people that are putting out videos that will show you items that they're buying. And I wouldn't say to just run out and blindly go get it, because you need to make sure the market's not flooded, like I mentioned before. Because just because they were able to sell it for 15 doesn't mean you're not going to have to sell it for 10. All right. So to close it out, I think retail arbitrage is a great tool to use as a reseller. Doesn't matter what platform you're on, there's always something out there. I mean, you can make it just as simple as, hey, you're already at the grocery store, you're already at Home Depot, whatever it is. Just take the time to look at it. Just because it's not something you would buy doesn't mean someone else won't buy it. So take out your phone, scan it, see if people have been buying it. And if it fits your budget and it's something that you can manage to buy, you're not afraid to sit on it for a minute. If that comes to that, go ahead, do it. Don't use more money than you can afford to lose. Don't go crazy like that. But retail arbitrage can be a great tool to get some extra money in your pocket. In case you didn't know, I's a hobo. Thanks for watching.